So let's talk about players who, by the way, I will be live tonight for the game, who could really almost lose their job tonight. Now, obviously, after the second preseason game, no one in theory is going to completely lose their job, right? You wouldn't get cut. You would just, in theory, be on that little bit more of a bubble if you're already on the bubble. And let's start with the starters. So obviously we're going to play the starters for most of the first half. And starting off right away, Lucas Patrick. I think that's pretty much just the most obvious take of all time. But he is going to be on a humongous eyesore if he craps the bed tonight. Now, obviously, they're not starting. They have like 7 starters out for this game for the Commanders. So there's a chance that, he's not going against the best player they have. But still, if he craps the bed after that awful week of practice, plus the fact that now Cordell Volson is out for the foreseeable future, really, it's going to be a lot of... It's going to get to a point where the Bengals cannot hide with this narrative of, well, we like him. We think he's a good player. Like, at some point, you're going to have to make the move, right? So, that's number one. Lucas Patrick is going to be a guy who, if he has a bad preseason game, and again, usually with starters, that never happens, where it's like a starter could have awful preseason games, but they'll still be fine. Not him. Not him. Number 2 is Jalen Rivers. So, Jalen Rivers is going to be utilized a lot in this game at right guard. So, this is, again, another situation where Lucas Patrick could look awful and potentially knock himself down a couple of tabs. And if Jalen Rivers could look really good at guard, maybe he could work his way up the board a little bit, right? He could actually start to really be in conversations here. Because at tackle, he looks awful. At tackle, Jalen Rivers looks freaking atrocious. And I don't think anyone wants to put their life in, the front of Jalen Rivers at tackle. That's just absolutely atrocious. Next guy I want to talk about is Isaiah Williams. So right now we do have this competition here between Isaiah Williams and Mitchell Tinsley for potentially a 6th wide receiver spot. If we do keep 6 receivers, I think we will in the end because we're only keeping 3 running backs. So Tinsley and Isaiah Williams are going to be in competition tonight. And last week, Tinsley looked good. Isaiah Williams had 1 target, and he did not catch the 1 target. So, again, that's that, 6 wide receiver spot you're kind of going back and forth on. Other than that, Noah Fant will be playing tonight, which is cool. We'll see him. Jake Browning is locked in where he is. Running back core is locked in. So let's talk about defense. So Shamar Stewart looked good in preseason week 1. And he'll probably going to end up looking good in preseason week 2 as well, depending on who they start on the offensive line. We do know that they're going to be benching a lot of their starting offensive linemen, though. So Shamar should be able to eat. And if he looks good enough in this game, he might be able to actually earn himself a starting role come week 1, which I think he honestly will in the end. But right now they're saying that he would be the backup. He could definitely earn himself a prominent role even more if he does look really good in this game, which so far he's looked really good. So, again, he's on pace to do it anyway. Dax Hill is going to be playing this game, but again, if he does good or bad, it's one of those things where Dax is Dax. We're still going to love him. Other than that, you got players like Jalen Davis, who, again, Poison Ivy, Nate Brooks, Lux, who are all guys who really are on that bubble. And to a certain degree, actually, if any of those guys have really bad game tonight because they had really good bad week 1 game, there's actually a chance one of these guys could get cut. Now, again, you're not really going to make cuts until, you have to because you have the 90-man roster as long as possible. But you never know, especially if you start really looking into it and the Bengals want to take this, situation serious and say, hey, these guys aren't really going to be best for us. Let's go out there and try to get somebody else. Always good opportunity out there, to better your team if you want to. I use the term "you want to" as hopefully they want to. But with that being said, though, guys, listen, at the end of the day, tonight is another night of hopefully we get through the whole game without any injuries, no starter injuries, and hopefully tonight the Bengals really decide that Trey needs to be on this team. Lucas Patrick needs to be locked away in the sane asylum, and Jalen Rivers could potentially be a guard. I think that's really what this comes down to at the end of the day. And I wonder I guess we are going to see Seth McLaughlin in this game as well. So we'll see how good he is at potentially center as well. So again, there's a lot of things going on. I will be live tonight for this game, so make sure you stop by the channel and check it out. We go crazy in preseason games. So if you think preseason streams are just like passive, like a baseball, very passive. Baseball games can get a little crazy too. But if you think it's going to be like, just a passive, both teams are out baseball experience, no. We scream, we yell, we want holding calls, we want penalties called correctly. It isn't a friendly environment. No, it's a friendly environment, but it is a very, angry environment at times. Just like a real Bengals game. See you guys in the next one, though.